Hello and welcome to The Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely, and with me, of course, is Peter Lavelle, co-founder of The Gaggle and host of RT's talk show, Crosstalk. Yesterday, Vice President Biden sat down for a 60 minutes, well, he sat down for it a little earlier in the week, but it was broadcast Sunday evening in 60 minutes, and he obviously received very different treatment than President Trump did at the hands of Leslie Stahl. Friendly, courteous, respectful questions. No arguments, no debates, no nasty personal comments. It was a very friendly, respectful encounter.
Boring.
Yes. Among the interesting comments that he made was a promise that should he be elected, he will set up what he called a bipartisan national commission to look into the issue of essentially packing the Supreme Court, and that this commission will report back within 180 days. Now, in the commentary that's that has appeared today, they said, "Oh, nothing to worry about. It's going to be bipartisan. He's probably just kicking the can down the road." My view is that if the Democrats win, they capture the Senate, and Biden captures the presidency, they will interpret that as a mandate. With some justice. You win an election, elections have consequences, that's a mandate. It's a mandate to undertake huge changes. And, that this commission, the job of this commission will be to recommend backing the Supreme Court, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the Democrat-controlled Senate and the Democrat-controlled White House will indeed back the Supreme Court. What's your take, Peter?
Well, yeah, I mean, announcing a bipartisan commission that will report to him 180 days after he's inaugurated is just utter nonsense. It's another non-answer. Number one, it doesn't matter what it recommends. The president has the power to appoint, and the Senate has the obligation to advise and consent. So I don't care about this commission. There's a long history of commissions that have gone nowhere. Okay, I mean, can you think of the last bipartisan commission that did anything? I can't. Okay, I remember a lot of them that didn't go anywhere. But this is a cover. But this is a cover for not answering the question, not giving the electorate a straight answer.
Right. No, that is right. It'll be bipartisan in the sense that he will select just enough Republican jurists who will be in a minority and who will be outvoted. I mean, if you set up a commission consisting of 10 members, 7 of whom are Democrats, 3 are Republicans, then you've got a guaranteed majority. It'll be in the hands of the president as to whom appoint, and so he will appoint liberal jurists onto this commission.
Well, if you have the gold, you get to make the golden rule. Okay, so I mean, this is just all nonsense. Another reason for his non-answer, and it's something that I keep warning about, is that the Democratic Party is extremely fragile right now, and hence Biden is the solution. He's a very temporary solution also, because if he announces a list of jurists that he would recommend to the Supreme Court, a civil war will flare out immediately in the Democratic Party. Immediately. That's why he won't say it. It's not because he's not so smart, and it's not because he's has to be coy. I mean, it's all those things here. But this is a political firecracker that he's playing with right now, and there's plenty of people, hard leftists that say this is our time. We may never get this again. Okay, it's just that these people are very short-sighted. First of all, it's not a popular issue among voters, packing the court. We have to remember back in 36, 37, when Franklin D. Roosevelt had absolute command and supremacy. I mean, the Democrats, it was like a one-party state. And he couldn't even get that through a friendly Congress. Okay, it's just not a popular issue. And during the New Deal, the frustration is that the court kept ruling unconstitutional many of the New Deal. Okay, and probably rightfully so. But this time round, appointing judges, this is going to be also a cultural revolution. Okay, that's not what FDR had in mind. I mean, he basically said the people need relief. I need to get this done, and the court said, well, we understand that, but it's not constitutional. This is a very different approach to packing the court, and it's very, very dangerous. My goodness, George, the country is on eggshells right now. That move will shake the nation, because that means a packed court with the presidency and the Congress in the hands of the Democrats. I mean, for conservatives, that's going to look like the Maoist Red Guard. Okay. Right. And I am very worried about that. And on top of it, the cherry on top of all of this, tying a bow on all of this, they'll get rid of the filibuster. Okay, so that means that there will be no minority input whatsoever. And people will say, but Peter, that's democracy. And I reply, you can have tyranny of the majority. Now, the founders knew that, understood it, and wrote about it. Okay, this is a very, very divisive issue. And as you said on these podcasts, the first Republican to come in will add 4 more, and then the court will be of no meaning whatsoever. Because what the Democrats want to do, and the liberals and the media want to do, they want to create politicians in robes. That's as simple as that.
Right. Well, that's an interesting question, because, of course, I have said that, and I still think that that's the case. But the Democrats are playing for keeps. Yeah. They know. If indeed they
my argument.
and they get the presidency, they've only got 2 years to get this done. This is going to be their top priority, which is we need to permanent control. So therefore, they're going to that's the only thing that's going to be the Biden agenda. Although he hasn't come up with any kind of serious economic program. He hasn't come up with a serious COVID program. This is going to be the Democratic program. How are we going to permanently change the political system in the United States? So if they can put a number of liberal jurists onto the Supreme Court, and they amnesty, who knows how many illegals in the United States, and they put on D.C., Guam, American Samoa, and onto and of course Puerto Rico into the Senate. They may well have a built-in majority. It may well be almost impossible for the Republicans to win an election. So in other words, they've got those 2 years. It may be that in 2 years, the Republicans won't be in a position to have a majority.
That's an argument I've made previously with you. But that doesn't bode well, okay? That doesn't bode well at all, because essentially you're going to be asking half the country that we're no longer interested not only in your input, but we don't need your participation anymore. That doesn't bode well, okay? And that will be the first time it'll have ever happened in the United States that I can think of, okay? I mean, the last time where you had a significant plurality, populations that didn't want to participate was called the Civil War. All right.
Yes.
And if you know American history, and most Americans don't, that's the kind of deadlock you can get to. And I can assure you that if we get into a situation where we have one government rule and packed court, you're going to have people that will just completely tune out, because nobody is talking to them. A time where the country is so deeply divided, and it's kind of a 50-50 thing, at least in terms of politics. I'd like to remind everyone, please, if you have the chance, go take a look at the 2016 election results, but look at it by county, okay? County, not state, not congressional district, county. And you will see the redness of America. And all of these Democrats are always pushing democracy, But I mean, you're basically going to have the tyranny of the urban and suburban areas over the rest of the country. And that's where you get the cultural cleavage as well. So, be careful what you wish for, because, this kind of absolute power will, and history tells us, absolutely corrupting, because then you won't. And it's kind of like what they say, like in the Arab world, one man, one vote, once. Okay.
Right. Well, I think that's the important thing. I mean,
we're importing that model. Okay.
Yes, exactly, and that's why what you said is important. It is a cultural revolution that is being planned for here, and it really has to be emphasized. This is the first time that there's an election in which a candidate or a party isn't really promising any particular program. It's not like, we're going to have nationalized healthcare, we're going to boost the military, we're going to have a guaranteed minimum wage, we're going to massive tax increase, whatever. There's no promise other than, once we get power, we're going to make sure that 2016 and Donald Trump never happen again. I mean, that's the only agenda, and therefore those 2 years that they're going to have, they're going to make sure that they get as much of this backing, ending the filibuster, everything in as much as possible, and therefore and have as much power so that, like, as you said, one vote, one time, one man, one vote once. It will be so it's really a very, very kind of chilling situation.
Well, but this approach here by the Democratic Party establishment, they're blind to what's actually happening in their base. Their base is deeply divided. The Republican base is very divided in the sense that it is not in tune with the Lindsey Grahams and people like that, because, as you and I have pointed out, and polls show it, is that Trump's base would be more than happy to have some kind of single-payer health care. Okay, it's the elites that don't want it, and that's why they call it socialism, to scare everyone. Okay, just look at how they use the word socialism and single payer. All right, and so what these establishments don't understand is that the simmering divisions within their own bases here. I mean, if the Democrats have power all across the board, the progressives are going to say, now you can share a little bit. You can share now. You can't blame Trump. You can't blame the Republicans now. There's no reason why we can't have the new Green Deal and free education. There's no reason why you can say no now. Okay, and of course that's not going to happen. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she's obviously playing politics with a stimulus a package that is so desperately needed. Go look at the polls. That's like a 70, 80%, 80, 20% among Republicans as well.
Right.
Okay.
But I think that's what's important here is that. The court is really become the most important institution in the United States, because once you're on, you are on for the rest of your life. I mean, they have to literally take you out in a coffin. I mean, it's now one justice after another just simply dies on the job. I mean, they take you out in your coffin. So therefore, once they're there, they can start adjudicating and all the various issues that you would think elected representatives should be adjudicating. They're going to be doing, and they're already doing it. I mean, you can see what's going on in Pennsylvania, where the Pennsylvania Supreme Court is trying to rig the election. Can you imagine what will happen if you have this built-in majority on the U.S. Supreme Court? And it'll be pretty straightforward to do, because it's so easy. You don't have to go through the rigmarole of having elections and getting the votes, and which is very cumbersome. Here, you just have get a simple majority of the jurists, and lo and behold, it becomes national policy.
Yeah. But it's not. It's intentionally not recognizing a kind of realignment that's happening, and it is in spite of the major political parties. The Democratic Party is in far more trouble than I think. Obviously, than it wants to admit, because it never had an autopsy for 2016. And I think that it's interesting that you say that gives it added fervor to make sure that never happens again. Okay, I mean that's what it's, and this is what the election is about for the Democrats. You're absolutely right. What is the signature issue from Joe Biden? There's none. There's no a bipartisan commission on judicial appointments. Okay, no, that's not. I mean, the only thing he's run on is the mask. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else more. And why? Because anything he runs on will divide the Democratic base. That's why he can't say anything. It's not because he's a adult, because he is. But I mean, they've warned him, don't say anything. It's not because it'll take the picture off of Trump, but no, actually, it'll put the view on the civil war that's inside the Democratic Party, and the way to make sure that they avoid that civil war, in their mind, and I believe they're mistaken. Once they have total power, they think they can deal with it. No, it'll be the reverse, just as I explained.
Right. Well, I think that's at the moment, Biden's problem is that he has to win an election. He has to win an election in which you have an electorate that clearly, as indicated by the polls, is overwhelmingly opposed to court packing, which is why he has to use this soothing term. Well, we'll have a bipartisan commission looking into it. Then we'll say, okay, that sounds fair. But don't take that seriously. And then again, I mean, you got something like energy, where you've got the AOCs and the Sanders. Oh yeah, we've got to transition away from fossil fuels immediately. Well, that's not going to fly. And of course, you've got another thing that could be a really dangerous unexploded bomb after the election, which is gun control. Because again, the Democrats have promised that they're going to take on seriously legal gun ownership. So imagine if they then start, we'll have an executive order for confiscating guns. Well, that's going to be a nice kind of arena for bloodshed as the Fed start storming into people's homes to take their guns.
These are issues for secession. I'm serious. Right. These are secessionist issues.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, going through the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression, you have a health crisis, and people are really struggling. Look at the food banks all across the country, and now they're going to come for your guns. Oh, come on. That's like the most toxic potion I can possibly imagine. Because for a lot of people, for better or worse, that's the only thing they have left, their guns.
Right, exactly. And it's a very, very big thing in the United States. And the justification for taking away guns from legal owners is very thin. I mean, it's like, what's the justification? You got a crime rate. Well, those are crimes committed by criminals using illegal guns. What's the justification to go break into law-abiding citizens' homes to take away their legally owned guns? None. I mean, it's just an ideology dominating the Democratic Party. And that's why it goes back. I mean, I think you phrased it very well. A cultural revolution is what's being planned by the Democrats.
Yeah, well, because the Democrats have no intention of doing anything for working people. They don't care about working people. I mean, I don't know who said it. I think it was maybe Schumer. He said for every member of the working class that we lose, we gain 3 in suburbia. I mean, that's their mentality. The professional managerial class. That's what they're interested in. Okay, they're not interested in these deplorable workers. Oh my goodness, why would anybody want to do anything for them? Because they can't do anything for themselves. Okay, the arrogance that these people have towards working people. Most people. Don't send out another check because people will stay home and not work. Most people, the vast majority of people enjoy the dignity of work if they can find it. I don't believe this nonsense. Okay, I mean, there are plenty of people that won't even take the money because they don't believe taking money from government. Okay, others feel differently, but I mean, if the government says you gotta go on unemployment, then you better damn well help them. Okay, you told them to.
All right. But it's very interesting. I mean, the kind of the realignment in American politics, which is that working people have moved away from the Democratic Party. their natural home should be the Republican Party, but the Republican Party is beholden to their donors and especially their corporate donors, and so they continue to prattle on about corporate. Where is their base? This is really their base now. This is working people, and the rest of them just slapping their own base. No wonder they keep losing, or at least they threaten. You know, they may lose the election, but even if they win, it'll be an eke out, a very narrow victory when they should really be winning very comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, but see, it's my kind of my signature issue here is that, you know, the Republican Party, if it wants to remain relevant, it has to get rid of the libertarians, because the libertarians that, you know, to make up a small percentage of powers of position in the Republican Party are completely out of step with the working class voters of the Republican Party. And this is a major criticism I have of Trump. He should have been able to resolve that issue, okay? But he didn't. He didn't. And he didn't do it at his own peril, because you have these clowns that surround him talking about economic policy, and I can tell you, people in the Midwest just bristle, like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And you know, he has somebody like Peter Navarro, who's a good guy. I mean, he's I think understands that issue, but instead he listens to his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. And so now, when you listen to one of his speeches, he talks about the stock market. He keeps talking about how he's got rid of the individual mandate, so he's gutted whatever healthcare exists at the moment. And then, to top it all, he goes on about how he's done all these great things for Israel. So these working people who want to vote for him, they're going to think, what the hell is that for me? You know, how does any of that make me better?
The United States gives huge amounts of money to Israel every single year, and Israel has a single payer program. So through foreign aid, American taxpayers pay for single payer for others in the world, but they don't get it for themselves, okay? See, the thing is that if Americans knew that, but they're never told that, of course, okay?
No, that's exactly right. Well, we will be laser-like in our focus throughout this week and into the beginning of next week on the U.S. election. So remember, if you like The Gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye-bye.